Hafid everybody and welcome back to Estoria Ta. Living on a tropical island, all you have to do is walk outside to your backyard or take a drive down the street and you are guaranteed to find rows of plumeria, hibiscus, and even our territorial flower, the putitainabu. And according to local artist Simeon Palomo, we live in paradise. Meet Simeon Palomo, the chairperson of the Floral Arts Subcommittee for the 12th Festival of Pacific Arts.
So floral art is actually a discipline. It's probably one of the oldest art forms. But we don't have any like remnants of it because it's all comprised of flowers and plants. But the floral art is comprised of two categories: traditional floral art, which is all the marmars and the leis that you see we islanders are using. So we're going to have many of the island nations come and actually demonstrate and show their floral art tradition. And then we also have contemporary floral art, which is what we see a lot today with tabletop arrangements, for weddings and christenings. So those are the two main categories.
Palomo's been creating floral works of art for over 20 years. It began as just a hobby and blossomed into hosting workshops and writing a book.
I started just making flower arrangements for for events, and then I started doing it for I was working at mental health at the time, so I would do their St. Diphna's celebration every year. So then that got me to and then I started doing family funerals and weddings, but I'm only using natural materials. And then I think in 2006 I started doing all the tabletop arrangements for Old Hagatna Grill in Agana, and I had to do it every Saturday, and I started learning how to use our own resources. I had to be resourceful because I didn't want to purchase plants from off island, and I didn't want to use floral foams. So every Saturday I had to think of something new and resourceful. So I consider that also like a boot camp again. So for 2.5 years I had to come up with something different every Saturday, 25 arrangements, using only materials from my house. And after those 2.5 years, I really got to know what resources we have and how to use it. And so when I made my book, Tropical Art Guam, a lot of that is expressed in my book, and I'm almost like sending a message like we have all the natural resources, we have all the materials, and we should just start using what we have here on island. And that is carried over to floral art because we're only using plant materials grown in Guam. And all the fillers, we're not using floral foam, we're only using stems and branches and all that.
This isn't Palomo's first Festival of Pacific Arts. He attended as a literary arts delegate to FestPAC held in the Solomon Islands in 2012.
They were excellent hosts. I mean, of course, in the Solomons, everything is they have all the natural resources, they still have all the skills. So everything, of course, is all handmade, all the huts, all the meeting places. They were all, of course, built by hand, and all the craftsmanship, the carving, the woodwork. I mean, that's just, it's indescribable unless you were there. So that one thing alone is I felt like I was privileged.
And he's just as privileged to lead Guam's Floral Arts delegation.
I love it. It's a challenge, but the committee, my subcommittee, we have like a core group of 10 people, and they're so committed because we're all doing it for Guam, and we're doing it, to promote the festival because it's all about the culture, the arts, the indigenous cultures. So we all feel like we're doing a service. I'm trying to also send a message that every Pacific island has their own floral art tradition that can go back. I mean, I'm saying maybe even 1,000 years, because it's just carried on for decades, for generations, and now we're actually going to display it. Because in the Solomons, we were doing just contemporary flower arrangements, but for our FestPAC, we're going to actually have demonstrations of all the traditional floral art and see how it's all made and the meaning of every single island's use of their different flower adornments.
It's because of Simeon that one local artist has flourished in his field. His story when Estoria Ta continues in a moment.